The moment Rachel's mother caught me staring across the living room, my heart nearly stopped. I was certain she had misunderstood everything. Her expression turned serious as she slowly walked toward me, gently placed a hand on my shoulder, and quietly said, "We need to talk." My stomach dropped. I thought my relationship was over before it had truly begun, but I had no idea that the conversation waiting behind that closed kitchen door would uncover a family secret, a lifetime of silent pain, and change every one of our lives forever. Before we continue, if you believe kindness, forgiveness, and second chances can change lives, please like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone you love, and subscribe to the channel for more emotional stories that stay with you long after they end. My name is Nathan, and I was 26 when I met Rachel during a volunteer event in Columbus, Ohio. She was warm, patient, and had a smile that made difficult days feel lighter. We spent months getting to know each other before she finally invited me to meet her family for Sunday dinner. She warned me that her mother, Margaret, was protective and quiet, but she also said that beneath her reserved personality was one of the kindest women anyone could ever meet. I wanted nothing more than to make a good impression. Their home was modest but filled with warmth. Family photographs covered nearly every wall. Looking through them while everyone prepared dinner, I noticed something unusual. In almost every picture, Margaret smiled, but her eyes carried a sadness that never completely disappeared. There was one old photograph sitting alone on the fireplace mantel. It showed Margaret standing beside a young boy who looked about 10 years old. The frame had been polished so often it almost gleamed. I found myself staring at that picture longer than I realized. Something about the boy reminded me of someone, though I couldn't explain why. That was exactly when Margaret looked up from the kitchen and noticed me. Our eyes met. Instead of looking angry, she looked frightened. A few minutes later, she quietly asked me to step into the kitchen. As soon as the door closed, she took a deep breath before speaking. She asked why I had been looking at the photograph so carefully. Embarrassed, I admitted that the boy looked strangely familiar, though I couldn't place where I had seen a face like his before. Tears immediately filled her eyes. She explained that the boy was her son, Benjamin, who had disappeared 16 years earlier during a camping trip with relatives. Despite endless searches, no one had ever found him. The family had never stopped hoping, but as the years passed, hope slowly turned into grief. She then surprised me by asking about the small silver cross necklace I always wore. She said it looked exactly like one her missing son had owned. I explained that I had received mine from an elderly man who had helped raise me after I spent years moving through foster homes. He had told me the necklace belonged to someone very special, though he never knew its original owner. Margaret stared silently at the necklace before gently touching it with trembling fingers. She didn't claim it proved anything. Instead, she simply smiled through tears and thanked me for listening to her story without judgment. In that moment, I realized she hadn't pulled me aside because she suspected me of doing something wrong. She simply saw an old memory that reopened a wound she had carried for half her life. The dinner that followed felt different. Rachel finally understood why her mother had become emotional, and instead of awkwardness, the evening became filled with honest conversations about love, loss, and healing. Margaret admitted that grief had made it difficult for her to trust new people entering the family. She apologized for seeming distant and thanked me for treating her daughter with respect. Over the following months, I visited often. Sometimes Margaret and I would sit on the porch for hours, talking about life. She shared stories about Benjamin that Rachel herself had never heard. Slowly, laughter returned to that house. The empty chair at family dinners no longer represented only heartbreak. It reminded everyone that love continues even when answers never come. Inspired by her courage, Rachel and I organized a community fundraiser supporting organizations that help locate missing children and assist grieving families. Hundreds of neighbors attended. Some shared stories of loved ones they had lost. Others simply came to offer support. Margaret stood before the crowd with tears in her eyes, thanking complete strangers for reminding her she was never truly alone. That day changed me forever. I learned that sometimes people carry invisible burdens behind ordinary smiles. A simple misunderstanding had become the beginning of a friendship built on compassion. Instead of losing my girlfriend because of one uncomfortable moment, I gained another mother who welcomed me with genuine love. Years later, when Rachel and I married, Margaret hugged me before the ceremony began. She whispered that, although life had taken many things from her, it had also given her another son when she least expected it. I struggled to hold back my own tears because I knew she wasn't replacing Benjamin. She was simply allowing her heart to make room for hope again. If this story has touched your heart so far, please write the words, "Hope still lives," in the comments. Your message might encourage someone who is quietly carrying pain today. As Rachel and I looked around during our wedding reception, we saw Margaret laughing more freely than anyone had seen in years. The sadness in her eyes had not completely disappeared, but it no longer stood alone. It now shared space with gratitude, peace, and the quiet belief that even after unimaginable loss, life can still offer beautiful surprises. If this story moved you, please like this video, share it with your family and friends, leave a heartfelt comment, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us continue sharing inspiring stories that remind the world kindness, compassion, and second chances still exist. Sometimes the conversations we fear the most become the very ones that heal us. A single misunderstanding opened the door to forgiveness, friendship, and a family brought closer together by empathy. And while not every mystery in life is solved, every act of kindness plants a seed of hope that can bloom for years to come.